to Corporate Mullet. I'm one half of the show, MiRi.
And I'm Sachin.
And we're joined again by a very special guest. You might be seeing his face around more, but introduce yourself.
Well, definitely only my face. Yo, it's Rich. What's up?
Boom. We're back today with another great episode of Corporate Mullet. Today's topics are really just covering briefly F1. We're putting Rich in the reverse hot seat where he can come and ask us questions. And then we're topping it off with the third topic.
We're going to turn your life into a sales strategy, or how you would turn your sales strategy into a lifestyle.
Applying your strategy that makes you successful in your professional job and your personal life. So let's kick it off. F1.
F1.
You got the Ferrari shirt on, and I noticed, I'm sorry, I'm a bit of a snob, but you have last year's on.
You know what? Because it's in support of Carlos, man. He didn't deserve it. I'm sure he'll do fine at Williams, but I miss Carlos. Welcome to the team, Lewis, I guess. But no, man, I think this season is going to be one of the most exciting ones that we've had in a while. The teams, the gaps have closed up. Really competitive. We have a whole freaking group of new rookies that just came in, and some of them look really, really good in the cars already. So I think it's going to be a good season, man. I think it's going to be exciting. Mercedes, they did pretty well during their testing. But you know, we had George saying that it's because it does better in cold. We'll see what happens.
Any condition, anytime.
It was interesting to see though. Lewis and Charles are really close in time, so I'm like, please don't fucking crash into each other, guys. Just don't do it. We need a win. This is gonna we're gonna get at least a constructors title this year. I'm calling it. Ferrari for constructors title. I don't know about the driver championship.
I don't know. What I will say is I'm gonna miss Checo Perez, man. Mexican viewership is gonna go down. Carlos Slim is looking for the next up and comer.
Go for it, bro.
Maybe
take his seat.
Maybe I'll
Red
crash.
Bull Mike
I can crash. Pay me what they paying Checo. I'll pull up. Fresh new blood.
You just got to be the torpedo to clear the way for Verstappen real quick. You got the job.
I got
man.
it, bro.
You
Me and Max and MiRi. Look at that, Eminem. But Mercedes, we're gonna finish at least second this year, bro. We got the youth. We got George Russell. He's gonna mature quick, and Kimmy's just gonna be there absorbing everything. Hopefully not the crashes. And we gonna finish second this year.
Excited.
I promise you.
I'm excited to watch Kimmy.
Book it.
I think Kimmy's going to do well, man. I think Kimmy's going to do well, but I don't see Mercedes being second in driver or constructor.
W16 is getting it, bro. I bought the Lego set. Thank you, Costco, for respecting us this year and putting us on your shelves. About time that leadership, instead of focusing on other policies, put Mercedes back on the shelf. I will say that.
But no, man, I don't see them coming in second realistically. It's going to be a fight between McLaren, Red Bull, Ferrari.
Well, McLaren's Mercedes, kind of.
Not really, not at all. But no, it should be an exciting season. Dude, first race of the weekend coming up, or of the season's coming up this weekend. I cannot wait. I've been waiting for too freaking long for the racing to come back. I still haven't caught up on Drive to Survive, but I wanted to wait for the racing, man. I'm so pumped. Yep. I hate breaks in racing. Because I don't know what to do when I wake up at 3 a.m. anymore.
Yeah. I wonder who wakes up at 3 a.m. But we're going to do recaps on it, so stay tuned for that. It'll be great. Yes. And Rich, having no knowledge of F1, do you know who even is in the league?
No, but I heard him say Red Bull and then Mercedes and McLaren. And when I'm thinking in my head of those three titles,
yes,
brands,
and that's what I was just going to ask you.
Sense.
Well, I was just going to ask you, based off just the limited knowledge that you know of, if you had to make a prediction, well, list all the teams and then make your predictions off that.
Give me the numbers. Who's got the most money?
Well, now they have budgets, so they can't outspend each other. But Ferrari has more money than every other team.
All right.
Okay.
So yeah, historical bonuses, baby. But fucking.
But Italians are bad at making cars. So who else?
Not Ferrari. Not Ferrari.
Who else?
There's Mercedes, McLaren, Red Bull. Those are like really just like the top teams. There's Alpine, which is the French. Whatever. So there's Alpine. There's Kick Sauber, whatever the fuck they're called now. Stake, Kick Sauber, F1. Visa, Cash App, RB, Racing, Bulls, Toro Rosso, whatever they're called. Yeah, that's Red Bull second team. I'm missing.
Well, off those.
Haas, the good old American team.
Give us top three, just off name.
Top three teams
for him.
Top 3 teams: Red Bull, McLaren, Ferrari.
No. Him.
Huh?
We would get Rich's top 3 just on no knowledge.
Oh,
Got the
Red
team.
Bull.
so
All
far,
right.
yeah. Well,
That's
not this
it.
year. Not this
Red
year.
Bull.
I don't think any of the other ones are going to do shit. I mean, just knowing what
That's
I
a
know.
Red Bull's on a
that's not even
slippery
a car
slope.
brand.
That's a wham.
Red Bull has
bandwagon.
people jumping out of spaceships and shit.
I mean, they won the last 4 championships, but
They don't
this
got
one,
champions.
I think they might win this one too. But it's actually, I think McLaren might actually take.
I'll
this
bet
one.
you the first person to step on Mars is going to wear a Red Bull hat. So I think it's Red Bull all the way. Straight up. Didn't Elon's car have a Red Bull?
No.
Nah.
They just had the updated.
Hey, but you both looked up in the air for a second, though.
I was like,
right?
did it?
Huh?
True.
You're like,
Damn, that'd
damn,
be
maybe it
kinda sick.
did.
Imagine drinking from that. Depressurized Red Bull.
Depressurized. Nah, fuck that.
What do you think
I
of
need
when
the
you think of
carbonation.
McLaren?
McLaren.
Orange.
You guys know more than me.
Orange.
Yeah. Or no. I like McLaren. I think of like the historical racing team, right? They've always been just one of the top teams, like next to Ferrari.
Mediocre.
They're so fucking amazing. man.
Trash.
McLaren.
The best thing about
Always love
McLaren is the Mercedes engine. That's what it is.
Sure.
What about Ferrari?
Nah, not
What do you
much.
think of when you think of Ferrari?
Lewis Hamilton.
Racing.
Lewis Hamilton.
Lewis Hamilton.
When people think racing, the first color that pops in their head is red. When they think sports car, they think of a horse. It's Ferrari. They built sports cars.
The Germans, man.
Well, actually, Lamborghini invented supercars, though. So shout out to my favorite car brand still is Lamborghini, but they don't race in F1.
True.
Now, when you think of pushing the limits, what do you think of?
The Germans. Mercedes, baby.
Really?
Yep.
What limits are you talking about, right?
What is possible, man? We push the
What is
limits.
possible?
What is possible?
Poland was
bro?
possible, bro.
They just have the cleanest looking brand, bro. You can't deny it. Mercedes got the best brand.
No, that German engineering is rock solid, man. I'll give them that. They're an efficient machine.
When a
And,
military uses your best vehicle as their choice, the
you know,
G-Wagon,
militaries also
on,
used
son.
freaking Lamborghinis at one
No.
point. Yeah.
No.
The LM002. It was
Mussolini
a military SUV.
did not have no Lamborghini out there.
Yeah, because Mussolini was dead by the 70s, but like they had Lamborghini trucks that were military vehicles. You could still buy them. They have a V12 and a freaking SUV.
I'll take a Nissan Patrol before I take that. You know about the Nissan Patrol?
I don't know about.
Sounds ugly. What is it?
Throw back to the Middle
Go to
East.
Dubai,
we need to
baby.
go back to Dubai again,
put
man.
the-
It's those SUVs that they like drift around in the dunes and like can go up on like 2 wheels.
Yeah,
they
I've
they
seen those.
deck
I've seen
these
those.
out. They
I've
build
seen
them
those.
all out. So he
They're
fell in love
small,
with that
right?
one.
They're smaller?
No, they're
Bro,
huge.
they're huge.
Oh,
They're
maybe I
freaking
don't know what
huge.
you're talking about.
Like in the Middle
It's like-
East,
it's a
they'll
full-size
tip-
SUV.
They'll tip the car all the way to the side, bro. And they'll just like, right. And if you look it up and they flip them and they'll be like on their backs and people are just like pushing them up.
Even the one that
Insane.
we took out in the desert, full roll cage and everything, because they're like, yeah, they flip over a lot.
But yeah, that's our race predictions. That's F1. That's a real quick glimpse.
Go
there.
Ferrari.
Rich just went with the bandwagon answer. That's fine. Red Bull, whatever.
Red
you guys
Bull all the way.
suck. You guys suck. But moving on to today's hot topic, Rich's reverse hot seat. I know last time when we interviewed you,
If you had any idea what that sounded like, yeah, go ahead. Come on,
we
dog.
put you on the hot seat. We asked you uncomfortable questions. Now it's mine and Sachin's turn. Hit us with what you got. You can go Sachin first.
Who wants to
me
go first?
Sachin.
Okay. You ready?
All right.
All right. What is the absolute worst thing that somebody could say right as they hand you a drink?
Here's a glass.
That's a good one.
That is. You know what? Here's a
What?
glass of R&R.
Ooh, that's rough.
I had that once in Indiana, and I literally felt like I swallowed molten aluminum. I'm never drinking R&R
Yeah,
again.
you ever had that?
Don't ask.
Rich and rare Canadian whiskey?
No.
Not good.
Nope.
Not good for you. Not good for anybody.
Dollar
long as
shots
it's-
in Indiana,
As
baby.
long as it's not a plastic bottle, I think.
I'm pretty sure it's a plastic bottle.
I mean, nowadays, I guess it's considered expensive with the tariffs and all that.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I know Canada threw all our shit in the trash, but the scariest thing you can say to me when you hand me a drink is don't ask.
Yeah, that's rough.
That sounds like a challenge, bro.
No. No. That's too many variables you don't even know, man.
Let's start with you, Mary.
Let's go. Let's do it.
I know you're married.
Yep.
So let's,
Oh, God.
let's go before that.
All right.
This is all hypothetical
Back when
for his wife. Yeah,
Yep.
this is all hypothetical.
Well, I hope you know. Last time I was single, I was. Oh well. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
All right, just roll it. It's all good. If you had to pick one excuse to leave a terrible date without hurting their feelings, what would it be?
Say one more time.
If you had to make an excuse to leave a terrible date without hurting their feelings, what's your go-to? How you doing it?
I think Chipotle undercooked the chicken,
You going with food poisoning?
and I got a date with a porcelain throne.
Oh my God.
Boom. I'm blaming it on the bowels because it creates an awkward enough situation where they're not going to follow up, and they're probably never going to talk to you again because they don't want you coming over to their toilet and doing what you're about to do
They're
to
gonna
that.
be texting their friends. Yo, this guy's got bowels.
There you go.
All right,
See, it eliminates any future communication.
That's not bad. What about you?
I got one better.
All right.
Oh, my wife is calling.
Nice.
So why are you on a date?
Exactly.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, yeah, that's all right. Here's another
You
one.
hear that? I love my wife.
Me too.
What is something that is technically, this is you. What is something that technically isn't illegal, but it absolutely should be?
People driving too slowly in the left lane. I think that should be a federal offense, honestly.
Amen.
If you're backing up traffic, especially in places like Sacramento and LA and in the Bay Area where there's a lot of traffic, if you're parked in the freaking left lane going under the speed limit, go to jail. I know you could get a ticket for it, but no, it should be criminal.
That's fair. What about you?
HOAs. I hate them.
Oh, yes.
If you're on an
A lot of
HOA,
people.
you have too much time in your hands. You should not. If you own property, this happened to my neighbor. So my neighbor had a pod thing in their driveway, right? And they're old couple.
Yeah.
One's retired, one's working. And they're like doing the interior of their house and they're just slowly getting at it, right? But I'm like, I don't care. It's their property.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Mhm.
Someone from the county or a neighbor or something, I guess, flew a drone over our properties and we're just looking for things to call
That's
out.
creepy.
So the thing with the car, they put a notice. The thing with the pods, they got a notice. Theirs was a little more immediate though. They said they had 2 weeks to get it out or they were gonna get fined. I forgot. She showed me the paper. I'm like, what?
You live in an HOA?
I don't have an HOA, but this is what I'm saying. I don't live in an HOA, but someone from the from what we're gathering as a community, they're looking to potentially. I don't know how they're gonna do this, form one, but I can even tell you from that little enforcement that we got, I can't live in an HOA, bro.
Dude, I mean, I live in an HOA now. I've had my problems with them. I've had my problems with them.
What do they? What do they? Yeah. What do they even do to help?
Huh?
What do they do to help?
They take your
Nothing.
money.
They take my money. What do they? I mean, okay. So for my community, it really pisses me off because I live in a smaller neighborhood. There's not as many homes, so the HOAs, the fees are pretty high for what we get for it. Pay like $230 a month or something, right?
Hell no.
All they do.
Well, I'm out.
All they do is make sure that the gate is functioning and that the front lawns and the shared green areas are like maintained. That's it. That's it. And I'm like, I've got friends who bought houses, they're paying like $80 a month. They live in these massive master planned communities and subdevelopments, but like they're $80 a month HOA. No one's bothering them really.
Yep.
There's too many people there to really hunt them all down individually, right? But they have like co-working spaces, pools, pickleball courts, like the barbecue areas. It's like you're living in a freaking resort. And
Furniture.
I'm like, you're getting that for $80. I'm paying $200 for somebody to tell me you can't park your car there. Your garbage bin is not 3 feet away from the recycling bin. I'm like, what the like? I'm not buying in another HOA. I'll tell you that.
Sounds like it's time for an audit. So what is the number one way you could get an HOA to get back at them?
Man, I don't know.
Without them knowing?
You can't.
You
I can't.
can't,
You can't
man,
because
yeah.
then they start fining you,
Yeah.
and then like if you sue the HOA, the legal fees get distributed amongst all the neighbors. I'm like, I'm not trying to piss off my neighbors and stuff, but like, there's not much you could do once you sign that contract, and there's CC&Rs and whatnot. And I'm like, I made the mistake because I was just, it was COVID, and like I need a house.
Yeah.
I've lost out on like 30 houses. I need a house. So this one came up as a new construction. And we were just like, sign the paperwork. Let's go. We'll figure out the HOA. I'm not reading the whole CC&R doc. So I just listened to the sales guy like an idiot. And there's a few people in the community where we had like HOA meeting. We're all like complaining about him. We were like, this guy completely lied about everything.
A salesperson lied?
Well, I wouldn't expect him.
Blasphemy!
I'm an ethical salesman. No, I mean I should have read it, but you know that's a mistake. I'll never make that mistake again because the guy.
Because you locked in now.
We done. The
Yeah.
contract signed. There's no 30-day opt out.
There's nothing, man. I mean, like it works for some people, right? Like for
Yup.
the community, it works. For me, it doesn't
Yup.
because I have a bunch of cars that I want to park, but
Yup.
they're so that's my biggest problem with them.
HOAs are white collar gangs. They're suburban gangs.
Yeah, pretty much.
They manipulate.
They're charging their protection. They got their protection racket.
They take money out of
It's like,
your
we'll take care of your
account.
grass as long as you keep
Extortion.
paying us. You know,
They say
like,
things are all right, but the gate's always broken.
oh my god.
They're white collar gangs.
All right, let's go to the next
I got
question
another
before
one.
my blood
I
boils.
got another one. All right. This is weird. MiRi, you ready?
Oh god.
Let's go.
If a stranger whispered one sentence to you on the street and then vanished, what's the absolute worst thing that they could
Oh
say?
God. Professionally.
Remember, there's 70 people watching this.
I drained your accounts. I don't know. That'd be kind of scary.
That's
Just a stranger walks up to me.
just whispers
Whispers in
something.
your ear. I drained your accounts.
Hi, Sachin. If someone whispered that shit,
And you don't know them.
exactly. If someone just whispered my freaking name and just walked by
You know
and I
what you
don't know
just
them,
did?
I would be like,
That's the world's shortest horror story right there. That's
Boom.
got to be it.
it's made for this generation.
Have you-
7 seconds or less.
Have you seen the world's shortest horror story?
No.
No.
The last man lives alone in his home, and he hears a knock at the door.
I get it.
My dog's trying to get back in.
Yours is shorter though. Stranger comes up.
Yeah.
Hi, Sachin.
There we go.
And
I
you said
beat
it
him.
all evil like too.
All right, let's keep moving here. You can pick any celebrity to narrate your thoughts for one day.
Morgan
Who do
Freeman.
you choose? Morgan Freeman?
Yeah, hell yeah.
All right.
His voice is
He plays
calming,
God.
bro.
He plays God in everything.
His voice
That's
is
fair.
calming though.
That's,
Like
it is very soothing.
I'll go Jim Carrey.
Ooh, good one.
You pick two
Bro,
people.
you ran my assessment on that shit. I love comedy, bro. Life is a comedy.
You both pick somebody to play God. Bruce,
Really?
Bruce
Jim
Almighty.
Carrey didn't
Oh
play
yeah, yeah,
God.
Bruce
Bruce
Almighty.
Almighty.
All right, maybe we
Jim
have some
Carrey's a
complexes
goat.
to look into.
Yeah, probably. I was thinking
All
more
right.
like Dr. Eggman.
two more questions, and then we're gonna get a serious one in.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Let's go. We get a rebuttal at the end though.
Okay, you ready? I gotta find a good one. What is the? Oh, this is horrible. I don't even think I can legally read that. Okay, if you had to have a fight to the death with an animal that weighs exactly the same amount as you, which animal would you choose?
That weighs the same, but it could be
Exactly
any
the
animal.
same- Yes.
Pandas.
Oh, fuck. Pandas are dangerous,
Oh.
dog. They can kill you really quick, bro. That's not
I
good.
know, but I guess it depends on
You're
setting
dead.
too, right?
Well, your boy's dead, dude.
Yeah, that's heavy.
Yeah, but you see him like tumbling around and falling off of swings and shit. I'm like,
Why not
Dude,
choose a
pandas are
calm
deadly.
animal?
Damn,
I
you said it
haven't
with
seen
a
an
smile.
aggressive panda, man. Am I missing something?
Dude,
I know
yeah,
they're
yeah,
dangerous,
no,
but
yeah.
like I haven't seen an aggressive
No, like
panda.
they can mess you up, dude.
I mean, it's a bear. But what if they were scaled down to 200 pounds?
It's a 200-pound bear. Fuck,
So
I
am
don't-
I.
Fuck, I don't know. I'm thinking of French bulldog.
A
A
200-pound French
200-pound
bulldog?
French bulldog?
Hell no, dude. Their muscles are strong, dude.
Put him
Wow.
on his back. He can't breathe. Flip him over.
How is it that none of y'all said like a chicken or some shit? What
Chicken?
do
A
you-
200-pound chicken did
Bro,
the
have you
the
ever
hell
had
out
a
of you,
rooster come out? Bro, I grew up in some farms in Mexico, bro.
Dude, they
Them
will
roosters
come after you.
At their weight, bro. I don't play with chickens or roosters.
Or
Tripping.
geese, bro.
No,
Let's stay
anything
away
with
from those.
claws. I almost said kangaroo. You know how stupid
Yeah,
that is?
no, hell no, I'm not
They'll
fighting a
mess
kangaroo.
you up, bro. A Joey?
Not
Get outta
unless I
here,
was
bro.
Australian, bro. I'm not fucking with
All right,
kangaroos.
come here.
You seen that video with that guy that fights the kangaroo?
To save his dog?
Those are strong, man.
Yeah.
They're considered rodents
They're
in
buff.
Australia.
I saw Kangaroo Jack. I know what they're capable of.
Let's get into some serious stuff.
All right, let's
not
do
really
it.
serious, but
Let's do it.
What's the most common piece of career advice that misleads people instead of helps them?
You could do anything you put your mind to.
Give me an example.
No, you can't. If I put my mind to being an astronaut, and I'm just every day, I'm like, I'm going to be an astronaut. That's not going to happen. You got to work for it, right? Like that's what I think that's the misconception.
I'm curious,
Like because there's been scenarios where like managers have told people on the team, oh yeah, you could be the next director or the VP. I'm like, no, you won't. Like, because they're sitting there thinking I'm in line for a promotion. And I'm like, no, you have to still prove yourself. You have to do the work to get
fair.
there. You know,
That's fair.
It's not just like, oh, I think I can be a director and you just have the confidence to do it and just wait for it. Like you have to go do something.
What about you?
Worst piece of advice that isn't true.
Yeah.
That
Career advice.
getting into tech,
Which side of that? What do you mean?
like it's easy, it's comfortable.
Oh,
like
yeah.
everyone on TikTok is like, oh, once you're in tech, you're in. The money rolls in.
Hey, notice how those videos disappeared though? Hang on.
But people don't talk about like I think Sachin went not through, or maybe you did through the tough times of tech when everyone was getting laid off, or maybe you joined at the golden era. But like right now, we're seeing massive
I've gone up
layoffs.
and down and everything in the last 10
Exactly.
years, dude.
So like people don't get the swing of it, and I think if you're in sales, you do because that's sales. But
Yeah.
but people who are like engineers and things like that, and like you always hear like I was wrongfully laid off and all this emotion behind it. When you talk to a salesperson, I mean, at the end of the day, you get why.
There's still definitely.
So I say
emotion
that
behind it
like
for
once you're in
salespeople,
tech,
too.
it's cozy, smooth ride. I don't agree with that.
What do you guys think about when companies tell you that they'll take care of you or that they care about you?
I think it depends on the company.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
like I've worked at like the company I work at now, I would actually believe that from them. Other companies in the past have straight up been like, you're a number. So, but like there are certain orgs where I think when they say that, they genuinely do believe that they're invested in your development, your growth, and your career. And it's not, you're not just there to, fill a seat.
Yeah.
And I agree because at my old company, I came in, I let them know my ambitions, and it was just always a roadblock or a hassle to even begin those conversations, or the goalposts would always move. Then at my current company, like milestone hit, all right, here you go. Okay, now here's the next milestone. All right, you hit that, here you go. So, they know my name, they know my story, like, I do believe it to an extent, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's all business oriented, right? Like at the end of the day, like if you're not doing your job, it doesn't matter if they love you or like you.
Move closer.
It's it's a business at the end of the day.
Okay, now I'm curious too. One more thing. This brings up a good question. If a boss has expectations of you that are either unreasonable, unattainable, or skewed to the point where you can't do what they're looking for, what do you do?
I look for a new job because the
What?
writing's on the wall for me there. I mean,
really?
at the end of the day, if you have a target that's completely unattainable, what are you working towards? You're not gonna you're always gonna feel like you're underperforming if the targets are just completely unrealistic and the goals are
How would you
unrealistic.
know if your perception of the targets are wrong?
Do the math? I mean,
Math don't lie.
that's how you set a target, right? I mean, you set a target by kind of figuring out what's realistic by doing math.
That's how they lay out the OTEs,
Yeah.
right?
So I mean that any job I go to, right? They're gonna be like, oh, your OTE though you could make 600,000, 700,000. Okay, I'm like,
Uncapped.
I'm like, what revenue do I need to hit for that? First of all, and then I'll reverse
Well,
engineer it there.
8 million. I'm just kidding.
You
Yeah.
reverse engineer it that way, and you're like, okay, that's the revenue target. Now, does that line up to what my actual order book target or whatever they're actually holding me accountable to is? And like most of the time, it's like no.
Yeah.
And even that target will still be high, right?
Yep.
So they'll say, oh yeah, your target is 4 million, your OTE is 500K. But in reality, if you work backwards, you have to actually sell 10 million to make that 500K.
Yep.
That 4 million will get you to 200.
I think that
250.
Reddit post really brought clarity. Like, all right, you're a recruiter. why wouldn't you take it if it's so easy to hit that number, right? At the end of the day, like
Everyone's hitting the number, then what are you doing
throw
recruiting?
anyone in there, throw Joe Schmo, and you know.
So when you're walking into a new job for sales, whether it's tech or not, I mean, you kind of answered it, but what kinds of things are you kind of thinking? Like, what are you appraising about that situation?
Product market fit, leadership,
Why?
I don't want my job to be harder than it needs to be. So why am I going to make
for
it?
somebody that doesn't know really what product market fit is, like, help explain that piece. Why is that important?
I mean, if your product doesn't fit your market, you're really trying hard to convince them to buy. So you're basically creating friction, or you're going down a path where there's more friction than there needs to be. That's the way I look at it. I like to take I'm not going to say the easiest path, but the smartest path, right? If you have options available in front of you, if you had the option saying, hey, this product, it's a tough sell, long sales cycle, the customers, there's a lot, or not customers, the competition's doing really well. They've been picking up steam. We've been losing market share, which no one's going to say during an interview. This is what you have to kind of research and talk to other reps that have worked there in the past and figure it out for yourself for. But like if those things don't line up, if their business is shrinking and competitors are coming in, or there was some catalyst that made their business more relevant that's now gone away, and it's no longer there as like a external driving factor or variable, then you're fighting an uphill battle. Why would you do that? I would rather go to a company where they're hitting their stride, people like them, they have a high satisfaction score, they understand who they're selling to, and they're filling an immediate need that we know that we can go to market with and get some good responses for. Otherwise, you're fighting for scraps. Especially, those are the orgs where you have 500 salespeople also trying to brute force a product into a market where it just doesn't work.
Yeah. I think I like seeing continuity. Like if someone's been there for 3-4 years, obviously something's been good about it, right? You've been hitting your number, especially the top performers. If the top performers are still there from 3 years ago, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Because money's good. Like, obviously you have to do a little bit of digging, but that's one of the green flags is if your top performers are there, things are moving in the right direction.
Yeah. But no, leadership I think is really important too.
100%.
Look at what they've been doing. Do they have high turnover in leadership? Kind of try to understand them as a person, profile them, think of them as a prospect, your leadership, right? And just profile them. So you know what to expect. Are these guys actually people that you're willing to follow, learn from? Or do you think they're there to take advantage of you and this is just not the right place for you, or whatever it might be, right? I think that's a big thing that people miss. They look at the pay, they look at the product, they look at who they're going to be selling to and the benefits and all of that, but they don't look at who their boss is going to be.
Yeah.
Not in depth enough, I think.
When I was at my old job and I was getting interviewed before I joined my current company, I actually thought about it that way. Like there was a really great opportunity. I love the product. I loved kind of what was going on there. But in the interview with the VP, who was going to be my direct report, it was like a brand new kind of product. His strategy was like, hey, we have no defined process quite yet. We're bringing you on because we like your skills, et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, I'm going to come up with a strategy and you have to go out and implement it. I'm like, well, if there's no definite way of doing this successfully, I would love to kind of doing it my, like, in my way, in a way that makes sense. Because at the end of the day, in 6 months, you're going to decide if my number is worth keeping on.
Yeah.
So if I'm following your strategy and it doesn't work out, I failed following you. Whereas I would love to kind of come in. The reason that you
want to have your destiny in your own hands.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So didn't align there and just didn't. I loved the product, loved everything, but I was like, it's not going to be worth this struggle because I know it's going to create conflict.
Yeah, and especially if you go into a role like that, you're just setting yourself up to be unhappy.
Yep. What about you?
Yeah.
Which one? What?
What you asked?
Yeah.
How do you go into
what are the
decide?
things you look for?
Yeah, I mean, it's similar to you guys, but I think there's a couple things. First of all, I think that there's something to learn from every single company, no matter what they have going on, right?
100%.
And it could be learning how to get the fuck out of there as quick as possible. It could be learning how to sell a product in a challenging market. It could be learning how to get better at internal selling or relationships with management. There's a lot of ways to look at that. So I think everything is an opportunity. The question is, are you willing to sacrifice what's required to stay there without, losing your cool? And I mean, I'm a little bit older than you guys now, but I think like there used to be a time when I was willing to go to the mat with people and, you know, talk about how can we make this work, you know, yelling with bosses, stuff like that. These days, I don't want the conflict as much. I think it's necessary sometimes, but at this point, I would much rather just, you know, build my own business. And so I want less conflict as I get older. But in those younger years, man, I was willing to argue, fight, get cussed out, keep going. I mean, it's just different, right? Yeah. How does that change for you guys? Yeah.
I think that's a really good point, because I used to be the same way, man. I would argue, I would fight for whatever, and you know, all that stuff. And then I realized, hey, I could just go find a role that's a better fit for me instead. I mean, I'm going to work and spending all these hours a day for someone else, right? For their business. I want something out of it more than just a paycheck. If I'm dedicating that much of my time, my life to you, away from my family, my hobbies, the things I want to do for fun, I better enjoy working there. I better be happy with who the leadership is, the direction of the company. Otherwise, I'm burning, you know, 8 hours a day on something that I hate, don't care about, and I'm wasting my life away. That's the way I started looking at it. And like, you know what? There'll always be another job.
Yeah. And I think for me, like, if the company offers, like, if I'm learning something, if I'm developing skills and I'm constantly still growing, it's worth it for me at the end. Cause I'm 3 now. Damn.
Almost 3 years in.
That's crazy. Yeah. It seems like, dude, it was in this living room too, I think, when I first got the call at the old company for that.
Oh, yeah. For the new role. Yeah, that was here, yeah.
Getting old. But yeah, no, that's something that I'm always like, hey, if I'm growing, if I'm learning, if I'm still, you know, leveling up at this role, that's something that I'm willing to stick out with, especially if it's, you know, culture's right and all that good stuff. But again, I'm early in and, you know, just honing my craft. So I guess from the young reps, or not young, but inexperienced or newer, what you would say, because sales age is much different from real age. So I would say for me right now, that's a huge priority, because ultimately one day I would like to run my own business, or, you know, be a strategic partner for a business and kind of define the market. So just learning from people, seeing a really underrated portion is seeing different sales type personas, right? Yeah. Because there are a lot of characters in this profession, and at the end of the day, you got to work with them. So it's good to see what works, what doesn't work, how to motivate. Rich actually showed me a book about the HubSpot founder, about how he motivated his sales team to, like, this is what we need to sell for this stage of growth. This is what we need to prioritize for this stage of growth, and then rewarding that financially, and, you know, things like that. So,
no, that's good.
You guys said something that's really funny. What kind of stuff do you see that's crazy in sales? What are we talking about?
Don't you see? That's a shorter list.
I'll let you take this one, Michael.
So what's crazy that I see?
Or what kind of characters do you see, or what kind of stories have you come across other than making obscure cold calls to plumbers? What else?
I think the craziest things that I've seen is, like, when you see a sales strategy that, like, you know, at your core, what works for you, you're like, nah, it'll never work. And then you see that person just crush. And you're like, bro, how, what? Like, because if you threw me in on what you're doing in my presentations, it would just, I think we talked about it in an earlier episode. Like, sometimes you need those pieces for certain personas with the buyer. Yeah. And again, on the seller side, you're just like, man, that'll never work. And then it just pops. I don't want to, like, pinpoint specific things, just out of respect. Like, it's just things like that. And then you're like, that's a little nugget where if I run across that persona, why not? You know, it's going to feel weird, but who knows? And it has worked in some cases. So
little adventure there, exploring different things that you're not.
But it's so uncomfortable, bro, because you feel like such a fraud.
It's weird. You have to try it out, though. I mean, that's the name of the game, right? Keep trying, iterate, test, build your strategy. Don't stagnate.
What's the tip you gave him last time?
What?
With the
pattern interrupt. Yeah.
Look at that. Not saying that's kooky or crazy.
And like, that's not something I ever thought about trying. But after we talked about it, I'm like, it was in my head, and like, you know what? I'm gonna just give it a shot. I'm out of ideas. I don't know what to do with this client. I don't know what to do with the prospect. So I just went for it.
I've done such stupid things. Like when I try to highlight how, like, we're a tight knit team.
Who, you?
Yeah.
No.
And on a demo, I remember going like, I wanted to emphasize with this person because they cared about support.
Yeah.
So I just literally turned to my left. I'm like, oh, hey, what's up, Matt? And then the prospect like, oh, is that the support team? Like, yup, that's him right there. What's up, bro? And like everyone around me is like,
what are
is
you
he
doing
in the office? And ultimately it didn't really help. But you know, it was something to laugh about. But you know, what if it did? You never know.
See, that's what I was gonna say as my answer, right? To keep it on a positive note, because everyone's heard about the crazy sales stories from, you know, partying and all that stuff, and what crazy stuff happens in the office and in sales teams.
Just watch Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah. That's not always the case, all right? It's not. Most salespeople are just normal freaking people, man.
That's true.
But I was gonna say tenacity and creativity, right? That's what I think is like crazy about sales teams and salespeople. Is you find like such a high concentration of that, right? It's always like it's a high energy, active team. People are thinking. People are really making change like rapidly, right? No one's stagnating or anything like that. That's when you get bored. So that's one of the crazy things to me for sales is like people just like everyone knows how to think on their feet. Everyone's really creative, and like when they find a target where it's like this is mine. That laser focus, oh my God. Like I think that's what I find crazy, that people from different backgrounds, different educations, different points in their career, we have all experienced that moment where we've had to think on our feet in a split second, be really creative, or we've had that opportunity in front of us where we're like, I'm gonna grab this thing by the throat and wring it, and you're not gonna let it go until you win it, right? So like that's something that kind of like that draws me into the sales profession a lot too, honestly.
On that note too, I'm seeing it with some of our younger reps too.
Yeah.
I saw it with one in particular, and it was just like, yo, that dude, he gets it. Like the light bulb clicked, and now he's hungry, bro.
But at the same time, you also go, man, what a sucker. He's gonna go in there. Am I wrong?
No.
You're like, dude, he's gonna go in there, burn a bunch of rubber, spend energy on this.
It's a canon event. You're gonna have to do it.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So, but it's good to see it like ignite. Like when you see it, like when you've known
you
them,
see that spark, and it's
boom. Like I've done so, dude, in my come up, I guess I've done so many things where I worked really hard and it was like in the wrong direction. But once you get that clarity, now you run like twice as hard because you need to make up for it. So those
are the people that really win, is the ones that experiment, make new markets, do new things that nobody's ever thought.
Yeah.
A way bigger risk, but it's also a way bigger reward.
Yeah, that's a lot more fun.
And you chase that high, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Yeah, I love it.
No, it's the next win, right?
Yeah. What's Tom Brady's quote? What's your favorite wing? The ring. The next one. So.
Amen to that.
Yeah. What about you? You see a whole lot of stuff, bro. You come from so many industries.
Two things. Pegasus International. There was a company where I'm from. It was called Pegasus International. We were selling credit card processing. To keep it PG, the two owners of the business went to extreme lengths to mask their identity running from the feds.
Wow.
Extreme lengths. And they withheld people's paychecks. And this was like a cold call job where like you're just calling. Anyway, it's total scam. Obviously, everything about it was not good.
Yep.
But back then, it's not like it was that long ago, but there was just not a lot of regulation and compliance. I mean, ways for people to hold them accountable.
Yeah.
And I remember showing up to work. I didn't have a lot of money. I was getting rides. Like, I was just in a in-between type of situation. And I remember showing up, and there was this girl who was beating on the front door. Her friend was out there, like world star hip hop. You give me my paycheck. You guys fire me. Give me my paycheck. And she threw a window through the front window.
Wait, she threw a window through the window?
Or excuse me, a chair through the front window. It was like a chair outside in a cafe next door, and it was in like a mall, like a thing.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the cops showed up, and they were actually on their side. And so I witnessed what I never thought I would witness. It was just insane. But I've seen that. I've seen a lot of weird things in sales that are interesting. I think the biggest thing that's interesting though is you can always tell the difference between people that are high performers and everybody else. And I think the biggest difference that you tend to see is that they don't give up. And I think that's the biggest pattern. And you hear it on like motivational stuff. But, as long as you actually believe that you can do it, eventually you probably will.
Yeah.
You just have to work for it. It goes back to what I mentioned, like that one, career advice that's just wrong. It's like, oh, if you put your mind to it, you could do anything. put your mind to it doesn't mean just think about it. Like you
But
got
if
to
you
act
work
on
for
it.
Pegasus International, it ain't never gonna work out. And so my point was,
That's true.
my point was sometimes you got to be careful about how you're doing business with people. And stuff
Yeah.
like that, and that's something to be mindful of.
Definitely.
Is that you want one more, or is that?
Oh,
I
no,
think
that's
we're
it.
actually, we're at time to move to the next topic now.
Okay.
So we're going to be talking about how you can turn your sales strategy into a lifestyle. How you can
Or how you do
incorporate
that.
your sales
Yeah.
strategies into your lifestyle, like
Yeah.
your out of work life, basically, right?
Hmm.
So, I mean, I'll kick it off by just saying like structuring stuff the way I do in sales, like structuring pipelines, financials, forecasts, all that. That's how I manage like my home finances and how
Smart. Yeah.
I forecast like our revenue and have our targets and stuff. And it's helped a lot. It helped a lot. I've always been a little bit spendier. I've been saving for the last like I think 5 years or so. I was like, okay, I need to stop doing this now. We talked about it in one of the episodes. Yeah. So stop spending as much, and like that helped me a lot in like my budgeting and thinking about it like sales instead of more like a personal financial advisor kind of role. So that's one big thing for me, the structuring and weirdly enough, spreadsheets. I use spreadsheets for everything. I didn't before sales, but after sales, man, I got so used to Excel. I use spreadsheets for absolutely everything. But yeah, structures and processes is what I'll start with. We'll kick it over your way. What else do you incorporate from sales into your day-to-day life?
I think if I ever have to, like, if I really want to do something, or like I want to go to an event or anything like that, hopefully you're not watching this, but like with my wife, using like objection handling and things like that. So that's a skill I didn't have before, where it's like, I want to do this and I'm going to go do it, and that's how it's going to go.
That's what I'm talking
Whereas
about.
now it's like, well, why don't you want me to go out right now? Or like, is there anything that you need or anything? You know what I mean? Like, let me do some discovery here.
It's like, what if I stay home an extra 2 hours tomorrow?
Is the
evening?
issue really today, or is it the issue that you want me to take you out Friday night? and I'll be too many drinks, and that's the problem. Like, what's the issue here? So outside of that too, just like with any relationship, right? It not in a manipulative way, but more so in like you get to uncover what people mean.
You ask the right questions.
Exactly.
Yeah,
What are
to
the
understand them
intentions?
better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, that's good. People skills. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rich?
I was just thinking like just taking massive accountability. Like if you're on the shittiest sales team in the world, you still have a job to do.
Yeah.
And if you quit, it's over, and like that's all she wrote. So you have a decision to make at the end of the day. Am I going to take responsibility for this situation and attack it with everything I have? Or am I going to walk away? And I think that all starts with taking accountability. This is on me. This is my fault. This is something I have to take care of. This is something I need to do. And so I try to live by that with the rest of my life, with pretty much everything is like, whenever I come across challenges, I have a daughter who's 9, and like, trust me, parenting, there's a lot of challenges that are mostly fun, honestly, but still, they're challenging.
Announced it,
And it all starts, especially with kids, it all starts with like,
Beat me to it.
who knows? It all starts with recognizing that this is probably my fault. And so I have to do something to fix it. I think that's pretty important.
Yeah.
And the other thing I think about in sales though too is like conversations get boring.
Dude.
Like you start to learn how to just massively, I hate to say manipulate, but you just start to understand the dynamics. Well, you understand the dynamics of conversation. And then you start realizing that everybody's fleecing each other to some extent.
Oh, 100%.
That like there's just manipulation on all, people are throwing things this way and that way, and it's just a huge, it's interesting.
Everyone hates sales, but everyone does it on a daily basis.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of the best salespeople I've ever met don't even know that they're salespeople. Right?
He didn't know he was a
I wanted
salesperson.
to be a lawyer, damn it.
Yeah. Make your case, dude.
Lawyers are just fancy salespeople, bro.
Totally.
We talked about this already.
I don't know if they're fancy, but
I hate them now, but I love it.
No, like to build on that, I was gonna say like I'm someone who's like, I don't like to go socialize with new people unless I have to, right? I keep my circle small. I like who I like, and I don't need to go make more friends unless I have to. So for me at least, like when you're in situations where you're like talking to new people and all that stuff, you're at a bar and you strike up a conversation and stuff. Sales helped a lot in that because usually I just, I'd give like one sentence and I'd turn around and and you'd miss out on meeting a lot of cool people that way, right? So like the sales method for me, it was like, hey, it's like a cold call,
Totally.
Have some small talk, get to the point, cut to the chase, and see if you want to be friends with this person or not, or if you want to continue the conversation or not.
Doesn't it make it boring though?
But no,
doesn't it make it boring?
Not really, because like for me at least, because like I wouldn't say I have like full on like social anxiety, but I have like a little bit of social anxiety kind of thing. Right? I just don't like approaching people up front or anything like that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't.
Then I look at it like sales, and I'm like, this is what I do for a freaking like when I'm in sales, I have no social anxiety. I can pick up a phone and I could.
So you go into the bathroom and then you call them.
Good idea. But no, I treat it like a networking event or something.
You know what's a good ideology on that? Jesse Eitzler. You know Jesse Eitzler, he's the owner of the Atlanta Hawks. He's the guy who had the book with Goggins. I follow him on TikTok now. The reason I do it. But he's great, man. I feel like the more I learn about him, the more mentory he's like. He doesn't even know who I am. But he had a TikTok where he's like,
he doesn't know who you are?
No. I hope he doesn't. I hope he does. I don't know. But his philosophy that I followed for a week was the yes and. So like whenever someone proposes something, just doing the yes and.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever he would go out to like dinner reservations or like his assistant would book him for reservations and he noticed there was like they're gonna be 8 empty seats, he would just call his friends and be like, hey, are you free? Hey, are you free? Are you free? I don't want an empty seat at my dinner table. And just the yes and of including people. And I did it for a week and I ended up going to 3 fucking Kings games with Chris. And it was just kind of cool to like before I wouldn't want to go because I'm like after work it's in the league,
hanging out at
I'm
home,
gonna be tired, but it was cool because then like we ended up taking like photos of like at the Sacramento parking lots like with the view and the beam and everything, and like, got to learn more about Chris like in a different kind of sense and what he's passionate about, why he goes to so many Kings games, and even though I was his homie I never knew certain things about him, so like the yes and for that week was like kind of cool to like again put yourself in that uncomfortable situation where like it actually led to a difference in opinion of me. Like I now kind of want to go out more during the week with friends, obviously, and like you never know what those situations can put you in. But I can only imagine that in a business sense when like, all right, instead of going to this networking event or something else, what did I miss in that situation? Not saying each networking event is worth it, but like,
we've been to some bad ones.
Who knows, right?
Yeah, so you never know who you're going to meet.
And like, so that's why
you learn so much at those events though. Oh yeah. You learn how bad people are at networking. Yeah. I love that. Hi, I'm a financial advisor. How much money do you have? Like,
You're the guy who almost dropped the $3,000 donation check, bro.
Right? So isn't that funny though?
Salespeople are the worst buyers. Bro.
Yeah.
That
sure.
too.
Yeah, oh man.
For sure. 100%.
We're like, you're not gonna pull one over on me. I'm in sales.
Yeah.
It's like, nope.
Dude, I hate people who do that too. Like, okay, you get it. You're in sales. Like, whatever.
Congrats.
Yeah, congrats.
Nah, that's all good. We'll fix it.
I'm a terrible buyer, bro. 100%.
Nah, but sales, but like it does help you in certain situations on like how to kind of go through a negotiation process and stuff if you're buying a car or something. Like in that case, sure. But
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hire Sachin for that.
I like cars.
Yeah. My dad's actually gonna pull the trigger on one finally.
Yeah?
What is he getting?
He wants to buy some used stuff. I'm like, bro, get something new.
That's a smart thing to do, bro. Why are you buying new?
Bro, so he can
like,
get his dream car though, bro.
You could buy one that's
Maybe
2
his
years
dream
old.
car is a low payment.
My dad would cheap out on anything, but that's why he's successful.
Well, there you go.
I got my mom's financial sense. I love you, mom. But yeah.
Damn.
That's a good way to kind of wrap everything up, right? Do we have anything
not dollars?
else? Not dollars. It makes a lot of dollars. But yeah, no, that's great conversation. Anything else you want to kind of?
No, I think this was a good one. It was good to have you back on again, Rich.
Yeah, thanks.
It was a nice chill
Rich will be
episode.
making way more appearances.
Yes.
And coming up next week, we do have the interview with Alan Cheeseman. So if you guys remember, if you've been a fan of the show for a while, he was a photographer who's been around with the Sac State D1 team. So he actually got some NBA experience. So it's going to be really cool to kind of hear that stuff. So make sure you tune into that next week.
That's going to be a fun one.
Like and subscribe, Rich. As long as Sachin lets you in the home, you're always welcome back.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
So yeah, let us know down below what you liked, what you didn't like. You know, how do you apply sales methodology if you're a salesperson? What would you like to learn more about sales? Anything like that. So again, one half of the show, MiRi.
And I'm Sachin.
And he's Rich. Thank you.
Peace.